So today, hopefully this won't be too long today. I'm gonna look for the Gate of Sahakiel again. It's just that time. Every now and then, we gotta go looking for the Gate of Sahakiel. But also, I'm gonna go looking for the standstill in the. I keep wanting to say Mystical Dream Tarot. Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. There you go. I knew it was mystical something. And the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. So I'm just shuffling these up. Shuffling. I got two more. I had an idea to do something, but I forgot what it was. Besides this. Ew! Oh, that was so funny. It's interesting because I actually had a dream. I actually had two dreams last night. Like when I was about to wake up. And it was like I was being like watched or looked at in both of them. And they were weird because it was like nobody was there, but I could feel somebody there. And like they were super short. But anyway, I'm like, oh my. Somebody want to get a taste. How are you doing today? Hola, Holly. How are you doing? I feel like I just rubbed my eye the wrong way. Okay. So basically, the reason why we're looking for the Gate of Sahakiel is because on the way to work today, sometimes like my eyes will kind of play tricks on me a little bit. And I'll see something like in the sky, or I'll just see something that's like it's there, but it isn't there. You know what I mean? So today, on the way to work, there was just like this giant sort of like arch in the sky. So Gate of Sahakiel is what we're looking for. Cacabiel, Angel of Stars, just came out. The silent field of swaying grass waved at the oceans above. The giants marched past us by the thousand. By the thousand, and many more, infinite upon infinite. They don't look back. We stare on. Hola, Sandra. How you doing? Well, hopefully this time you get to stay. If you so desire. Woo! We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay. One more. I want a 5 cut this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one was only one card. Oof. All right, let's get right into this. Kind of nervous, but we'll see. The Gate of Sahakiel. I haven't seen Bezaliel in a minute. I mean, I've seen him recently, and then I remembered, but okay. So the Gate of Sahakiel was 3 cards from the bottom of the deck. So it's not as close to the forefront. Oh. And it's interesting because Pinamue, the Pinamue that makes men like the angels, is here. Pinamue never showed his face. It was almost certain that a face was present under his silken mask. But what manner of beast or man that lay beneath was a mystery. When there was a death, Pinamue would carve the name of the deceased in a stone that was laid above the grave. He said that this made men more like the angels. At night, he walked amongst the graves carrying a light. He wouldn't say why. And then on the other side is a Zeraphel, angel of song. The ecstasies above with thy burning measure suit, thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, with the fervor of thy lute. Darn it. I gotta go to another deck now. The ecstasies above is Oh, snap, and then Armoros is right here. Armoros is behind Penamue. And this is the Penamue that remembers. Because before it was the Penamue who forgot, and then Armoros. And so it feels like this energy is actually like these pillars represent some aspect of the veil. And now, I guess, well, we're coming into like October ish, right? So a thinning veil is nothing unseasonal. I already regret this. I don't think regret is the word that I should use, but it's the word that I'm sticking with. Because I really hope that this would be quick, and I'm gonna try not to smack the camera. Give me 1 second, please. Ooh. Ooh. Got him. I think I need a tarot deck. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. You're getting thinner. Oh, it's getting thinner. Sorry. Forgive me. Forgive my tired eyes. Ooh, that was so funny, though. Eve was like, they want a taste of your eye, Taurus. You're looking like eye candy. So, as this deck is, I'm going to find, the bottom of the deck is Fairy Guide. It's the blank card. So, we'll take that. I'm going to find Ecstasies. Oh, I'm going to have to read these. Well, we'll see. We'll see who comes out. There we go. Okay. So Spirit is this? Oh, Spirit Dancer. Spirit Dancer and the Fairy Godmother are at the cut outside of the cards outside of Ecstasies. We'll get to all this when we get there. Um okay. So that's these. So we have Turiel, Angel of the Mountain, with the Gate of Sahakiel, and Sukloth, Angel of Verdancy. So we're going into the autumn here. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, Angel of Verdancy, you're right on target. Otherwise, it's interesting that the Angel of Spring would appear so close to fall. Wait, when is the solstice? Equinox. That's coming up, right? We should be nearing autumnal equinox. Oh, it's Thursday. Okay. Hola, Diana. I don't know why. I do know why. Let me stop. Okay. So it's interesting that Turiel is here because I know what Turiel is about. It's interesting that Turiel is here because Armoros is here. But okay, so Turiel is the one who Turiel was next on the hit list, okay? But before Turiel got, Armoros was like, we need to put a stop to this. So then boom, the veil. Now Penamue is like, apparently, I think it's time for us to lift the veil in some way. And so I feel like Turiel is just another. So I'll read it so you get the idea. Here I remain under a mountain made of many hands, all reaching and all taking. I press my body closer to that which I must keep. It is mine, and I will shield it from the misery of other hands. I can feel their gaze fall on it like an avalanche. Their greed feeds my convictions, so here I remain. Sort of symbolizing everything that was placed out of reach. Like there were many things still within reach as we work with spirit across the veil or whatever. But this, he's like symbolizing distance across the veil. And then we have the gate of Sahakiel and Sukloth, the angel of verdancy. Verdancy, like being new life, right? Like something is going to grow, something is about to change. I don't get it. But I was going to say, but somebody looking like eye candy. It's fine. If you haven't seen Everlong Mystics Taurus video, watch it if you want. I mean, I'm a Taurus moon rising, so of course I watched it, but it was funny. Um, but somebody across the veil is thinking that somebody is looking like eye candy, so they're gonna drop it. They're gonna drop the veil. They're gonna reach across, and what was kept, maintained, hidden will be revealed in some way. Oh, and then wasn't there abundance after that? I don't remember. That might have been something else. The wind passes the grass in waves, carrying with it the seed of growth, flowing across the landscape and burrowing into the cool soil. Plant life seeks the sky, and with it the dominion of Suploth expands. Let your roots settle. It is the season for blossoming. It is the season for blossoming. See the blossoming with the blossoming eye that was looking like eye candy. But the wind, what did it say? The wind passes the grass in waves. Maybe that's the wind coming from the other side of the gate of Sahakio. I have no clue. We'll keep going. So now we're going to try to find. We'll see, Diana. I'm looking for the standstill and the mystical shaman oracle cards and the gate of Sahakiel in Angelarium Year 2. That's what it is. Oof. Well, the bottom of the mystical shaman oracle cards is the Andean cross. The Andean cross for me is the Andean seal. And there was a reading recently where it was something about like unlocking the seals so that Andean energy can flow through, girl. Apparently, it's that season. What does it mean for humanity? Who knows? The mystical shaman at the top of the deck. Mystical shaman with the Andean cross at the bottom. I saw it on Instagram with the colored in. Yeah. Ooh, the Andean cross and completion at the bottom of the deck. Okay, anyway, we're pulling from the top. The mystical shaman, earth, and the heart of the sky. The mystical shaman, earth, and the heart of the sky. This feels like Like it feels like the voice of the heart of the sky has reached the mystical shaman. It feels like it's like low key surprising because this isn't Pachamama Earth. Like this isn't that like awakened God. Like this would be like my 3D, I guess. It doesn't have to be, but it's like 3D Earth. And usually, like, this is something like 5 plus, but it feels like before the go, whatever's going to happen to more fully shift like everything and everybody, before that, like, fully comes through, it feels like the mystical shaman hears the heart of the sky. What's that mean? I don't know. Shopping for a planner, and you saw one called the Times. Did you get it? I used to get planners at school, agenda books. I loved agenda books. Never used them. I used them for like 2 days, and then it was too much. Okay, well, it's looking like the standstill is going to be just as close to the bottom of the deck as. Here we go. So I had 6 cards left to the bottom of the deck. So it's many paths, the standstill, and then journey, or the journey. With the eagle and. Oh, wait. The eagle and lightning. So Thunderbird energy. Cool. Kind of. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing this. You haven't had one since high school. No, you didn't get it. Squares were too small. Oh, okay. To effectively and efficiently master time, you must break it down into itty bitty pieces and plan every single second. Okay. So the first thing that I notice about the mini paths card first is like this heart. It's kind of faint, but you see it right there, right? And then I notice it's like there's a person with their hands held up towards it. Like, right, can you see her or him, them? Can you see them right under the heart? It's kind of hard. And it almost makes me like there's almost this like giant eyeball in the sky, almost. But look, see, like there's the heart here. Wait, what? Excuse me. Many paths, the standstill, and the journey are over here. Who did we have? Turiel and Suckloff. I feel like I don't know where to go from here. So I'm like, okay. I had an idea. There was something about numbers, but I don't remember what it was. I got the Dungeons and Dragons tarot right here. Let's go for it. This one, I'm probably going to have to use the book because it is not easy to tell what cards belong to what suits in this deck. I actually brought the Stranger Things deck home today. Dungeons and Dragons is going to work tomorrow. So. Oh, goodness. So I'm going to shuffle these and then I'm going to pull the card corresponding to the number. So for many paths, I'll pull the 34th card. For the standstill, I'll pull the 52nd. And then for the journey, I'll pull the 29th. And that's how we'll get our little clarifiers for these. Okay, that was weird. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pulling them face down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 51, 52. We got 8 of swords. And then who's at the bottom? Oh, snap. Justice and the 9 of whatever this suit is. So it looks like they're all gathered together already. And then Justice shows up. And the way that everyone is like dressed, it's one of those like finding your soul tribe sort of energies. Can y'all hear Chino? Okay. So I ended up pulling after I got the 52nd card, since I pulled off the top of the deck face down. So I have the card before, and then I have the bottom of the deck, and then the card after. So I guess cards number 51, 53, and then the bottom of the deck. So we start with this eight of, I forget what swords are, wisdom, maybe, whatever. We start with this, okay? You can see how it's all tied up, maybe getting a little cobwebby. So y'all remember Turiel, right? And how it was like before the veil came down or whatever, he was next on the list. Because the other Turiel talks about when he used to show off and like everyone loved it, and they were like, it seemed like the angel was sustained almost as much. It seemed like the angel was sustained by human praise and awe almost as much as food and water. And then everything that went down. And then Turiel was like, oh, snap, I'm next. And Amaros was like, nope, we got to shut this down. But Penamue is like, hey, we're going to open it back up. Whatever. We'll get into it. But this feels like when it was like shut down, right? There was something that was like access limited in whatever way. And then the next card is this king. Now, this king could be. The king feels like it has the stature of Turiel, Angel of the Mountain, but it looks more watery. Um, this is the second card. And at first, I see like it looks like there's a little gate between his legs. And that's where this person is, right? And then the bottom of the deck was the Wheel of Fortune with it looks like a dragon emerging from some kind of portal thing. Um, and it looks like it's emerging because of the tail. Like its tail goes back into the portal. So I really don't know what we're in for. My Mercury is in Pisces, so I process the world through the space of metaphor. So let's tell a story, shall we? A non true story, just a metaphor. So the cards that came out around ecstasies, it's the singer of healing and undressing of a salad, which is obviously star energy, right? Not only is it the star because of the healing and the singer of healing, but in the undressing of the salad, a lot of times the star just depicted it's naked, right? I should have pulled the mystical shaman in them. Um, you speak a little Mercury in Pisces. So the thing was, the mystical shaman could hear the voice of the heart of the sky in Earth, right? And so it feels like, or it's reading like, the veil is less. It feels like um, It's like on an individual basis, which isn't like necessarily new or surprising. I feel like it is a little surprising, but it's not necessarily new. And if we think about it, it's like we all have a connection and we're all capable of connecting. The ways in which we connect are different, so we shouldn't compare, number one. But it feels like the veil isn't like a monolithic, like it is that way for like everybody. You know what I mean? And it's definitely like there is something that's healed into with the singer of healing. Did I read Aziraphale? Yeah, I did. The ecstasies above with thy burning measures suit thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love with the fervor of thy mood. I think I was thinking of the Angelarium Oracle of emanations of the whatever, and the Aziraphale in there, and how it talks about cinder soft earth. Now, Suckloff mentions cooled earth, burrowing into the cool soil. The other Pinamue is the fiery hilltop, but this is the cool one. So again, it's like it's after that. And so it's almost like there's this ability to find calm in any situation or to find calm in any storm. It reads like to find calm in any storm, but there's a place that is unlocked by peace, by an inner peace. In that state of calm, in the eye of the storm, there's something there. We'll call it the domain of Asbiel because Asbiel actually came out last time. Asbiel is the angel of ruin. Asbiel is the one who's waiting for the war to end, right? And then this is like, okay, well, war's over. So then Asriel, the angel of ruin, he's going to be like telling his story, sharing wisdom, stuff like that. Um, but in that place, that's where the voice of the heart of the sky can be heard. Um, so let's come over. Well, what many paths in the journey? We'll start with many paths first. Let's see what came up. There are so many like gathering cards here. This is for many paths. So it's reading like there are several people, individuals, or energies that all navigated their own paths to the point of a junction in between them. It's like a meeting. This has to be like what, three of pentacles, three of cups. That ain't the three of swords. I don't even. Oof, it's been a minute. I think wisdom is cups. Hold on, let me brush up real quick because it's been a hot second. Charisma is earth, right? Strength is fire. Wine, swords, cups, and pentacles. So swords is intellect, right? Yes. Wisdom is water, charisma is earth. So, wisdom? No, it is charisma. It should be. What? It's not charisma. Who are you? Strength. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. This is the three of strength. Each individual had the strength to walk their own path. And to not only walk their own path, but to like whatever, right? And then they meet at some point. Expanding your circle of influence and communicating your ideas, making progress. A young paladin in training says that his order has stolen an object sacred to hobgoblins. He feels guilty and wants to steal it and give it back to them. So it's interesting. So it's a paladin. Paladins are religious in D&D. They just are. I guess they could be spiritual, right? Can you be a paladin? Well, I feel like, sure. They're religious. They're usually associated with like churches and priests and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, yeah. And so the sacred relic was stolen from the hobgoblins, right? I was gonna use the rainbow tarot, the tarot after the rainbow. That's what I was gonna do. I'm almost remembering what I was gonna do because there's goblins in that deck. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, I was gonna use that deck, but I forgot. Um, anyway, so it was something that was done at a certain point in time that was right for whatever invented man-made reason. Right? It's something that isn't right, but it was justified through whatever. And so now the young paladin in training is in an energy of righting that wrong. So this is on the other side of this eight of intellect. So maybe it's like, as long as that hobgoblin, as long as the relic of the hobgoblins has been like not in their possession, something was paused. And I'm trying not to get too, or I'm going to try not to get too deep into history. And I mean, it's more than history, it's still ongoing. But we're just not going to get into it. It's almost like there are some things that we might try to use the divine to try to justify or sanctify. But it's like the divine doesn't want to have any part of it. And so, in that, the divine takes a pause and allows us to do whatever we want in the meantime. Doesn't necessarily mean it's supported, especially if it's something that goes against the general like way that the divine works. You know what I mean? So now the standstill. This is working a little different than I thought it might. This is the king. That's the king of intellect. I guess that makes sense. King of swords, lightning. Using the powers of your intellect clearly without letting it override your heart. Oh snap! That's what this is. Using the powers of your intellect clearly without letting it override your heart. That's making me think of the emperor that came out with the King of Cups to remind us that the emperor is also the King of Cups, right? The emperor also has a heart. The emperor also cares about people. The emperor isn't someone who's purely vested in self-interest and is like entirely self-motivated and will do anything and everything to get what it wants. The emperor is someone who has morals, ethics, standards, lines that they don't cross because I don't know, they I don't because that's how they operate. Okay. I'm trying to be as like I don't know why I'm trying so hard to like avoid the little chili peppers. Um so this energy was at a standstill though, right? It feels like we were just like in front of this King of Swords, King of Intellect energy, King of Intelligence, sorry. And that's partly because of grace. It's like a judgment that never reached its conclusion. It's like a verdict that was never issued. And so we just stand in front of the King of Intelligence. We stand in front of the King of Intelligence until we mature to a point to do whatever, right? Because again, it feels like it's because of mercy and it's because of grace that we don't just immediately sort of like suffer consequences. So we stand there until we're ready. And there's a six in front of me. I'm trying to see which one it is. Is it the six of charisma? It is the six of charisma, six of pentacles. It's on the other side of the standstill. And it's interesting because the last time the six of pentacles, the giver, has been coming out in the Spirit Keeper's tarot here a few times as of late. And every time it comes out, it's this energy of not being given more than we have the capacity to sort of like handle. So it's an energy like whatever is being given, it's being given freely, but to those who are like deserving, to those who are found worthy, to those who like know what to do with it, right? And again, withholding this audience in front of the King of Intelligence with the Singer of Healing and stuff over here, it just feels like it's held until we get it. So now we conclude this part of it with the Wheel of Fortune, the journey, and this Queen of, I'm assuming, well, she could either be the Queen of Charisma or the Queen of Wisdom. It looks a little like water down there, so we'll call her the Queen of that. We'll look for the Queen of Wisdom first. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Yep, that's our Queen of Wisdom. Going into the depth of compassion and quieting the critical mind to create emotional stability. A duck waddles up and says that he has witnessed a murder and wants you to catch the culprit. So we're speaking of animals now. The duck is like, I saw something happen. And because I'm a duck, they thought they got away with it. But I want you to catch the culprit. A duck is a bird, right? Because I'm looking at the journey. So insert the compassion and stuff like that, right? Now, this is also the Queen of Cups is a pre-high priestess energy. And so the water is like universal waters, cosmic waters, whatever. And that's as much, like, that's as deep as the water is for her. So she can like lay into the water and open up her whatever and then, you know, connect. And then maybe this Wheel of Fortune on the other side is the deepening of that water. Like, and with this Wheel of Fortune in particular, like, you see how dark that is? It's getting abyssal. Which might explain this before the veil energy over here. Because I originally thought, well, so I originally thought that like what was done is going to be undone. But it's almost now reading like once whatever this is opens up. I didn't even notice that the journey is on the other side of the standstill. And for us to have a journey on the other side of the standstill, something has to move or be removed. An obstacle or blockage has to be removed for us to keep going, right? There were many paths to this standstill. And I don't want to say there's only one way forward, but good night, Eve. Sleep well. Wait, what time is it? Oof, I might have to go to bed soon too. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Okay. I got a little bit of time. Um, Now it's moving forward. It feels like whatever this is deepening into, it might be deepening into a time from before the veil was whatever. When man lived a little closer to spirit, to God, to, source. And that almost like complete. It doesn't like completely change the energy of this. So to like ground this a little bit, there was a time where we made choices and decisions that we thought were far better. Maybe it was one of those like, I don't necessarily care who this affects because I have to do whatever for me. Potentially, it could have been some of those. We were well intentioned when we made certain choices and decisions, but at a certain point, we got caught up. And either things didn't work out or like our approach was off, so we burned bridges or whatever. Right. So then we stopped progressing. Maybe if it's like business related, there's a period of success, but then it's like all that success is just like gone. And now there's like challenge and struggle where there wasn't before, and everything was so good or whatever. And that's when we're holding audience with the king of intelligence. Holding audience with the king of intelligence forces us to look at our choices, decisions, behaviors, thoughts, and stuff like that to see how we got where we are, how we ended up at that standstill. And then in the process, we discover what it was that like motivated some of our actions, choices, thoughts, decisions, behaviors, whatever, right? And maybe we weren't fully cognizant and aware at the time. Maybe we were. But from the benefit of like um, time, I guess, since we can see how certain things played out, maybe we can better, like maybe now or whenever we're in that space of reflection and introspection, we can see how some of those choices and decisions, like we can see how some of the motives that we make, we can see, oh, this is hard. We can see how some of the motives that we had would impede our success at some point. Right. So, like, let's say that I don't really want to give an example. I'll just leave it at that. And so, after we discover those things that we may not necessarily have been fully aware of, and through living life, after we experience how holding on to them or how acting in alignment with them or from a space of those motivations, how it can get us to do things that aren't actually in the best of our interest. And so then we get to go back, or I guess we don't go back. After that space of introspection and reflection, we get to make a choice and decision on how we want to move forward. And so whenever we're approached with something and we come to another fork in the road, maybe we'll have the wherewithal to be like, in the past I would have made this choice and decision because of whatever, and that didn't work out for me. So maybe this time I can try doing a different thing. Again, with all of like the singer of healing and everything on the other side, maybe something was like healed, like through the space of like the spiritual journey, dark nights, whatever. They're in that space, like in spiritual introspection, reflection that led to healing. Maybe that's why we can sort of see with more clarity now why we did what we did in the past and how holding on to those beliefs would be to our detriment. And it's like limiting beliefs, stuff like that. Hindsight, there you go. that's that's what I was looking for. Hindsight makes it easier. So now, or with practice or with time, we will make different choices. Well, maybe we make similar choices, but our motivations will be different. Something will change. Something will change to the point where what used to cause standstill, stagnation, challenges, blockages, whatever. Challenges, not so much, but blockages more so. Now, after all of this, we'll be in a position to make choices and decisions that we weren't capable of making before. So we'll sort of like we'll have different experiences than the ones that we had before. And as we sort of take those different experiences, good night, Diana. As we take those opportunities to do things differently, we'll evolve and mature in another way, in a different way, in a new way, or whatever. Things will continue to unfold. And maybe we'll find ourselves in that place that we always knew or believed we could be in, but we could never figure out why. Like, what we could never figure out what kept us from getting there. And that's this. And I feel satisfied with that. All this extra stuff is unnecessary. um, I mean, it's just reading like there are things that we don't know about ourselves. There are there are things that we don't know about ourselves, or things that we haven't yet uncovered about ourselves. There are a whole library, a whole suite of experiences that maybe we haven't yet had, um, and it'll just help us open up to that. And in the process, we'll become a more authentic. We'll become a more authentic version of ourselves, but it's authenticity in a way of like a core authenticity almost, right? It's like, let's say that you are someone who is extremely generous, but because you experienced the amount of because you experienced the degree or the severity of the lack that you experienced in the past, that generous side of you were never in a position to be able to explore. And maybe you do, or you did give where you could give, but it feels like when you come into the resources, and when that becomes a part of your experience, then it's like you find out how much you actually love to just like do stuff for people, right? Or let's say that like you're actually like super social and you like love people, but you were never around the right people. And so you didn't know that like you're an extrovert because all of the people who you were around would like drain you, or they were toxic or whatever, right? There was a reason why you didn't want to connect. But when you get around people that you do want to connect with, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that, blah, 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 right? So it's like that kind of like sort of authenticity. It's an authenticity that it's like it's us discovering who we could be without certain things in the way. It's that energy, okay? And I think it's an energy shift within the self. Turiel holds so tightly because of greed, right? So if we're not greedy and we approach Turiel, then it reads like it feels like he would give freely. So it's almost like because of whatever is unhealed or unresolved within the self that might get us to seek so fervently certain aspects of spirit in an almost like quid pro quo type of way. like what we can get through spirituality or manifestation or whatever. It's like when we lose that focus, then we are able to expand, or we're able to experience in a more expansive way. There's more of a totality. Like, really? Totality is the word that wants to come to mind. Um, and that's just because it's like we're not looking for a certain specific thing. And then we seek it so badly that our own vision and judgment becomes clouded in the pursuit of it. That's when we can work against our own interests and not even necessarily realize it. Okay. I don't even know if I'm gonna get final cards because honestly, this is already enough. But I feel satisfied with that. I will. Why not? I only have 4 decks, right? I'll put the Angelarium away first. And maybe that's what the voice of the, or the heart of the sky and earth. It's like when we're so caught up in our day-to-day lives, or when we're so caught up in whatever it is that we're caught up in, that we don't notice or hear anything outside of that realm, then we essentially become deaf to it, or we essentially become blind to it. But somehow that peace, the eye of the storm, and the space that it leads to, that's when we're able to hear that voice. And it's like, oh, go here. And then, it expands our intuition and discernment and stuff like that, because the lens of desire isn't necessarily as strong, right? So it's not necessarily like, there are things that may not necessarily like pull our attention as hard, to the point where there are things that like we just don't notice because we're solely focused on something else. So that would make me think that either something is already here or something is coming. And we need to have the capacity to, we don't need to. We would do ourselves a favor if we had the capacity to see, hear, or be in a place to receive it. All right. Final Angelarium card, please. Oh, gosh. Is that a Vaciel, Angel of Sagittarius? Yep, Advakiel, Angel of Sagittarius. When the world we live in feels too constrained, our eyes lift to the horizon. The endlessness of the world calls for us to depart from our lives and become a part of the unknown. In this space, beyond the veil of the familiar, adventure awaits. A part of us never stopped existing in the wilderness. Advakiel guides us to rejoin the union, to seek for the sake of seeking, to live for the sake of life. So Advakiel, because of the surroundings, it feels like Advakiel is like, you don't have like, remember Sukloth, the angel of verdancy? Like Advakiel is in the space of exploring the realm, the domain of verdancy, a world of growth rather than a world of decay. Never quite pictured Sagittarius as the fool, but I see it. Zuriel, Angel of Libra, is at the bottom of the deck. All things have opposing forces. The rotations of the celestial bodies show us a macrocosm of our own swirling internal relationships. Zuriel is the regulator of these forces, weighing their value and attempting to find balance. So, that justice energy again? I like how it says the angel of Libra is attempting to find balance. I think it's an attempt to find balance because humans are humans, people are people. We're going to do what we're going to do. Someone can be like, oh, here is exactly the whatever, whatever. And we can still be like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm going to exercise the power of my will and my free will and choice to not do the thing that I want and to also complain about it later. I was like, okay, well, you could just, do this and then you'd be fine. I'm like, I don't think so. I think that'd be too easy. Life has to have some kind of challenge. That's me. I'm talking about myself. Okay. Mystical Shaman. Final card. Please don't give me corn. Some of these cards, I'm just like, I don't have a personal whatever. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Oh, snap. Okay. So the council, the hummingbird, and the holy mountain fell out of the deck. Okay. The council, the hummingbird, and the holy mountain. And if you notice, like these yellow balls everywhere, Vision Quest is at the bottom of the deck. It feels like the council is sending the hummingbird to the holy mountain. It feels like the holy mountain is as close as this message or this hummingbird can get from the council. So we go on a vision quest to the holy mountain to meet and receive the message. So there you go. There we go. Trying to put these cards back in the order they came out in. Earthkeeper, where did you come from? The Earthkeeper and the Andean Cross just randomly on the table. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Is this the hummingbird? Like, is that what the hummingbird looks like when we vision quest to the Holy Mountain? Cool. Well, I wonder if we'd see the hummingbird as the Earthkeeper, if we just see it as a hummingbird. I guess in that I mean like I wonder if it would just like reveal itself in a way. You know what I mean? Or if it would still be fairly I don't want to say cryptic, but I wonder if it's a little bit more than just like being at the right place, I guess. All right. So next, I'll put the fairies away. The fairies. And I will do the fairies last because I have the D&D tarot sitting on top of the fairy. So, and your fairy guide was here. So we all have our own path. We all have our own journey. We meet up at certain points. Different things will be revealed to each of us, and we all face the council on our own, right? So, as such, there's certain things that must be done. I don't know, we got to do for ourselves. All right. I should like timestamp that one. I think I will. Maybe I should do that again. Start ending the videos like, okay, so like to ground all this into reality, boom, goodbye. And then you can just watch that part and it'd be like, well, okay, sometimes it's not necessarily, it'd be considerably less time than the entirety of the video. Somebody flipped over. It's you. This is making me think of the Golden Shield in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. The Eight of Wisdom. Finding a way out of past pain by having faith that something better is waiting for you. Graves of a cemetery appear to be robbed, but some say it was the dead that dug their way out. This is the card. And we see this shield like refracting and deflecting beams of light. Right. The bottom of the deck is the Four of Strength. Is the Four of Intelligence. Is the Four of Charisma. This is the Four of Pentacles. Oh, duh, that makes sense. Okay. At first I didn't get it, but it's a dragon hoarding like a dragon's hoard. So yeah, it's the Four of Pentacles. Okay. Oh goodness. Anyway. So this is the image. I don't know if our Eight of Wisdom friend is trying to take the gold of the dragon, and the dragon's like, I'll let you have my gold, but you're gonna have to withstand the heat if you want to get it. It's interesting though. It's almost reading like a trial of light. And it's interesting that it reads like a trial of light because dark nights of the soul are such like a prevalent thing. It's a trial of light. I don't know. You pass the trial, you get the abundance. You get the gold. Dragon's just trying to find somebody who's worthy. You know what I mean? Trying to find somebody who's not gonna blow centuries worth of gold on things that don't matter in way too little time. It's like that gold was supposed to last lifetimes, generations. It's like, yeah, well, I spent it in 3 months, so you have any more? Golden shadow work. There you go. Ooh, iris of the rainbow. Rainbows. Ooh, iris chest all out. Iris is number 32. I think number 31 was the card on the left, undressing of a salad. Iris of the rainbows. She's a messenger. And then look who's at the bottom of the deck. Still. She's a messenger. And look, you see the rainbow in her palm? Is she the hummingbird? Are you the hummingbird, Iris? Have you come to deliver a message? Let's see. Let's read a little bit, shall we? Yep, 31, undressing of a salad. 32. Hope, promise for the future. Blue skies and rain are the realm of Iris, the rainbow. She dwells at the meeting of air and water. She sits rainbow-hued wings outspread, suspended in midair, partially wrapped in her deep sky draperies and crowned with iris blossoms. The fairy archers tip their arrows in her potent handful of iridescent light. Firing their arrows, they send polychromatic rays into the storm, bringing light to dismal skies and hope to darkened hearts. Beneath the rainbow fairy, the amphibious creatures of a wet earth crouch. The fairy frog maiden and the frog peer out from their shelter at the storm-racked world, while the shadowed sun is dimly seen above Iris's head. Sturdy pot-bellied gnomes, their toes rooted in the earth, sport sweeping whiskers to prove their entitlement to their single iris crowns, while the helpful fairy amphibians hold transparent, rainbow-filled globes for the rainbow fairy. I feel like that was a really long sentence. Everyone, especially Iris herself, is fully absorbed in the task of reclaiming the bright sky from the dark of the storm. In her hand, the light of heaven's bow looks a fragile thing, yet it is the light of hope, the promise of healing and joy to come. And that is one of the most powerful things there is. So, with all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to all that you wish to experience your reality. And as opportunities to experience the new, the majestic, the wonderful, the everything that you've ever hoped for, wished for, dreamed for, prayed for, and more, as it all comes into the periphery of your experience, I hope you're able to make it the center of it. I guess. I don't know. Good night, everyone.